When someone departs from your world, you expect a clear sign. A fiery clash, a deep betrayal, or a fracture so profound it echoes through your life. But sometimes, it's merely a few gentle words, uttered at the wrong time, with a tone that feels slightly off kilter. That's how it unraveled with me and Daniel. We had shared 4 years. Not a perfect love story, not a whirlwind of passion, but a steady, comforting connection. It was like a well-worn teacup, warm and reliable, always present. Perhaps that was its downfall. Over time, I failed to notice how much I depended on him, how seamlessly he had become part of my daily rhythm. Without realizing it, I started to push him away, not out of malice, but from weariness, uncertainty, and a faint sense of being lost. That evening we sat on the couch, not fighting or raising voices, just existing side by side, like two people bound by memories but little more. He spoke quietly. "Are we okay?" I hesitated. I could have said, "I'm just tired." Or "Can we discuss this later?" Instead, frustration seized control. I offered a weak shrug and mumbled, "Maybe we should just end it." The words cut deeper than I meant them to. The silence that followed was the heaviest weight I've ever carried. He didn't yell or cry. He simply nodded slowly. "Okay," he said after a long exhale. "If that's what you want." But it wasn't. I thought he'd fight, demand explanations, hold on to what we had, but he didn't. He stood, walked to our bedroom, and began packing a bag with quiet precision. I sat frozen, only then understanding what I had set in motion. I tried to speak, to say, "Wait, that's not what I meant," but the words lodged in my throat. My pride, my silence, my stubborn need to appear unshaken kept me captive. He left with just a backpack and his keys. No final hug, no slammed door, no lingering look. That was the last I saw of him, and it broke something inside me I didn't know could shatter. That first night, I told myself he just needed space, that he'd call or text, that he'd come back once he'd calmed down. I left the porch light on. Despite his old complaints about wasting electricity, my phone became my fixation. Every ping sent my heart racing. Every quiet moment roared louder than a tempest. But nothing came. By morning, the bed felt colder than I could have imagined. His side, slightly indented from years of habit, seemed to have already released him. Staring at his pillow, I remembered how he'd sleep facing me, one arm always reaching out, even in his dreams. That small gesture, the way he sought me unconsciously, said more than any grand vow. I hadn't realized how much I treasured it until it was gone. I told my best friend we were on a break, as if I held the reins, as if it was temporary. Her skeptical gaze mirrored my own buried doubts. A week passed, no text, no call, no "Can we talk?" No "Do you still love me?" I kept waiting for him to seek resolution. Instead, he gave me silence, not the spiteful kind, but the kind that feels absolute. I clung to my pride, tried to convince myself I'd made the right choice, that we were growing apart anyway, that he wasn't my forever. But the truth tugged at me, like a child pulling on a sleeve. I didn't want it to end. I just didn't know how to say, "I'm struggling and I need you." Instead, I'd said the opposite. One night, I dug through the drawer where he kept old receipts and plane tickets, trivial things he never threw away. I found a faded receipt from a gas station on our first road trip, a nowhere stop where we'd bought energy drinks and candy and laughed so hard we nearly swerved off the road. I sat on the floor, gripping that crumpled paper like a holy relic, crying so fiercely I couldn't breathe. It hit me. He had loved me with every part of himself, quietly, consistently, without demands. And I had mistaken that quiet strength for weakness. I sent him one last message, 2 weeks after he left, just 6 words. I didn't mean what I said. He never replied. That silence still echoes within me. Months have passed. They say time heals wounds, but I don't believe it. Time doesn't mend. It just teaches you to carry the pain without letting it show. Some mornings, I still wake expecting to see his shoes strewn across the floor, or hear the coffee maker he always started before I woke. But there's only the hum of the refrigerator and the hollow sound of a space once shared. No angry messages, no second chances, no "let's talk." He left with grace, no drama, no vengeance. That's what hurts the most. I used to think love ended in chaos, screaming, shattered plates, doors crashing shut. But real heartbreak is quiet. It's orderly. It's someone choosing peace over conflict. And he did. A mutual friend later told me Daniel had relocated 2 towns away, settled into a new home, adopted a dog, and returned to hiking. He seemed content, or at least at peace. The same steady man who'd fix our wobbly kitchen table and hum forgotten melodies while watering our plants. He built a new life without me, and he never looked back. Meanwhile, I'm still in the same apartment, with the same table, the same kitchen, but everything feels different. I fill my weekends with tasks, my evenings with shows I barely see, and my nights with the shadow of what I lost. Not because he left, but because I pushed him away. The worst part? He would have stayed if I'd only asked. If I'd said, "I'm scared, but I love you." But I let pride speak louder than my heart. I let a fleeting feeling carve a lasting end. Now I tell people we grew apart. It's easier than admitting the truth. I told the only man who ever truly loved me to leave, and he did. Sometimes closure isn't a conversation. It's the soft sound of a door closing forever.